Entertainment news.
Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome to Rabid News. So, as you guys know, LOLMiner was the king of LHR unlocking. Now, Trex has been working on a beta version in the background. You could have got the link in their Discord, but the official version is now released, and Hiveos wasted no time in releasing that as well. I did do some testing during a live stream earlier in the day, and these are the results. So let's have a look and see how well Trex compared to the other LOL miner. All right, if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, and bell notification to be notified for future videos. So we're just going to do some comparisons here. We went live earlier. This is the other version when we did test LOL miner 1.47 on driver 510.60.02. So we utilized the same driver, and we're going to do a head-to-head comparison. So these are the past numbers. If you see my other video, you know this, and you can just look at them, pause the video, take a look at what we're getting here. So now we're going to take a look at Trex and see exactly how it did. Here we are, Trex miner 0.25.12. And these are the same settings we went through. And there's a little hint. I want to point something out here, that we found something out that is actually more stable voltage wise and power at the wall when not utilizing an absolute core clock. So by locking your core. So it almost seems better to not lock your core. Now I still got to look into this and find some better settings that doesn't involve locking your core. But right now, I just want to do a head-to-head to see how it did compete versus LOL miner. I want to point out that all tests were done on a gold-rated ATX power supply. It's a 1,000-watt Corsair. Now, if you're familiar with ATX power supplies, the peak efficiency lays at 50% of that power supply. So, if you have a 1,000-watt, to get the most efficiency out of your power supply, you got to run that at 500 watts. So some of you may not be aware of that situation. That's how it works. So here we are. We're sitting at 1200 on the core, 2000 memory. We were getting 33.15 mega hash, 87 watts in the software, and 100 watts at the wall. That is a hash to watt ratio of 0.331, which actually isn't too bad at all. Next setting is 1200 on the core, 2700 on the memory, 33.72 mega hash, 88 watts in the software, 104 watts at the wall, hash to watt of 0.324. Now this in green is our most efficient setting that did tend to come out here. 1350 on the core, 2700 on the memory, 36.61 mega hash, 100 watts in the software, and 109 watts at the wall. That is a 0.335 of a hash to watt ratio. So that is the best setting we found in terms of the numbers I have here. Remember, I'm going to be working on this, and we're going to figure out the best overclock settings later on without using an absolute core clock. Next setting is 1470 on the core, 2600 on the memory, 38.68 mega hash, 110 watts in the software, 123 watts at the wall, 0.314 of a hash to watt ratio. Now, this is the go-to setting that a lot of people do like to use because it usually gives your most amount of mega hash. 1552 core, 2800 on the memory, 39.3 mega hash. That was 117 watts in the software and 131 watts at the wall. Hash to watt ratio 0.300. 1590 on the core, 2600 on the memory, 38.73 mega hash for 109 watts in the software, 130 watts at the wall. That was 0.297. So we're kind of dropping our efficiency ratings here. And now we have minus 502 on the core here, 2700 on the memory. Now, because we're not using an absolute core clock, we did have to lock a power limit in at 112 watts. That does result in 38.5 mega hash, 112 watts in the software, 125 watts at the wall, 0.308 of a hash to watt ratio. Now, these are some added settings I didn't really go through. We found some better ones during this live stream, but then we ended it. We were there for quite some time. But at 1600 core and 3000 memory, we did hit 40 mega hash with 122 watts at the wall, or 122 watts in the software, and 138 watts at the wall. Hash to watt ratio was 0.289. Now we bounced around with the settings, but like I said, when we tried that minus 502, we did notice that when you're locking your core clock, you were bouncing anywhere from 5 to 10 watts at a time. So remember, my system is 22 watts. So we did have to subtract that from our numbers. But for an example, like we're going from 145 watts on the watt meter upwards of 155, 156. So it was bouncing like 10 watts back and forth. But when we did not set that absolute core clock, or locking the core and using an actual negative number and setting a power limit, we were actually within like 3 watts of each other. It was always like, say, 150, 151, 152, 150, 152, 151. So it greatly reduced the power jumping back and forth. So I think that is probably a better way to run your card than actually lock it when it comes to using an LHR unlock. Now, when we go through the README and everything, we do see that it's always stating set an absolute core clock. But I am actually recommending against this based on the findings that we did find during the live stream today. And like I said, we're going to find some better tweaked out versions here of settings, because we're going to look for something that doesn't utilize the absolute core clock. So hopefully this kind of helps you guys out in any way. Thank you for watching this video. Trex is the absolute champion, and we'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.